Welcome back to Three Shots and a Dot, and here's what's coming up in today's episode.
KG is brilliant. Definitely the best test bowler at the moment for me.
There's Ozzy and Stubbs again. I know I've been quite vocal about them. Good to see them score some runs. I mean, I can't fault their batting performance. Yeah, on the top order, what do you make of Markram? A few starts, but everybody around him capitalized.
Drop him down the order, man. It's simple as that. Let me blow my own trumpet. My last time, and I only did this once, I'm not sure how many times you did it, I gave a red card to Riza and a green card to Stubbs. So, yeah, it worked out pretty well.
Dane Piedt is like the most vocal in that change room. He's always doing these little videos and interviewing players, and you know what? I honestly think he's there as a comedian. Every court needs a jester. I will red card him every day of the week. I've said this months ago.
Guys, you don't have to look like a subcontinent player to spin the ball.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. His next innings, that's going to be exciting to watch.
Let's call it. I'm saying Diamond Duck. Yeah, run on the other end. Yeah, for fun.
For the first time since 2014, South Africa win a test series on the subcontinent. Aiden Markram's side, of course, with Themba Bavuma being injured, have demolished Bangladesh, and there's no easy way to put that. They demolished them in both games. Very comprehensive performances, backed up by the latest one that ended earlier today, or maybe yesterday when you finally see this. Big scores from Tony de Zorzi, Vian Mulder, and Tristan Stubbs all doing well. And then a lot of wickets for the spinners, with KG Rabada continuing his brilliant show to leave him number one in the test rankings. What did we make of the series, boys? On a background of all the bad things that have been going on in South African cricket, a fairly good series, this one.
From my side, I think brilliant. We've all expected South Africa to do well, or to go and beat Bangladesh, and I think they did that convincingly. Happy for the three boys that made 100. I know we were also suspect about Tristan Stubbs at 3, but he put his hand up, he made 100. And nice to see de Zorzi make runs, as well as Vian Mulder really probably cementing himself as an all-round in that squad, because if I'm going back a few games, he's done really well with the bat, and he's come and saved us, or tried to do something, with the bat, and yeah, we saw him with the ball as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we've done very well, especially on the subcontinent. We've struggled to win any tests away from, series away from home. It's good to see the young guys, the young batting lineup come good. I think going into a lot of series that we've spoken about on this podcast, we were always we're fine with the bowling lineups. We think we're all right, or whatever it is. But the batting has always been South Africa's sort of Achilles heel in recent times. And it's good to see Tony get some runs, Tristan Stubbs and Vian Mulder. Nice to see Senurin get some runs as well in the first innings. I think going in,
that could have been you.
That could have been me. Coombs, I think you mentioned off the podcast that you thought he was a bowling all-rounder, but he's more of batting.
Yeah, it's weird that, in everyone's head, even my head, I've got him as a bowling all-rounder, but he's a batting all-rounder. And his stats are pretty good as a batsman.
Yeah, I mean, insane. And then just on the bowling front, I think we can't talk enough about KG. I think he's brilliant. World number one test bowler. He's proved time and time again why he should be number one, and basically carrying that South African bowling lineup, especially in the first innings. I think the spinners came into their own in the second. I think with the pitch sort of breaking up in a little bit of a turn, they did quite well. But KG is brilliant. Definitely the best test bowler at the moment for me.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. What made me happy was that now the boys have some confidence going into the next few games, because as we know, if they win all of their remaining tests, they make the final. So irrespective of what we've said of them in the past, they've got a chance. And I think they've all got us on board with their performances. And hopefully now they can go and win all of those games, get into the final, and maybe gain some momentum for the next couple of years. The one thing I was mightily impressed with was the team selection for the second test. I mean, in the first test, Dane Piedt was a passenger. And I'm glad to see that even in the subcontinent, he was dropped. So Senurin Muthusamy came in, he did well. He's put his hand up for a starting place in the next series as well. Yeah, I think based on this performance and the confidence and the high for all of the players, we should probably go into the next game unchanged. Because we've always had also the Rickleton-Verreynne debate. And it's good to see that the batsmen can come together to accommodate both of those players in the same team. And maybe we'll need them at some point. But yeah, Dezorzi and Stubbs again. I know I've been quite vocal about them. Good to see them score some runs. I mean, I can't fault their batting performance. So it was great. I mean, I'm on a high again, and I'm looking forward to South African Test cricket moving forward.
You kind of feel bad for Matthew Bretzker, though. He didn't have much of a go in
No,
the first
definitely.
test. And then, on a wicket would probably where you can sort of fill your boots early on in your test career, you get dropped from the team, and you feel for him. But I think you'll get a lot more opportunities in that team. I think it becomes now a bit of a dilemma for the selectors, which is a good problem to
Good.
have. Something we haven't had in recent times. Like who do we pick? Because anyone can do a job for us. When Temba's fit, what do they do? When we get on more seamer friendly wickets, which batsman do we pick? Because I think Senurin, I think he'll probably get unlucky and get left out if we get onto South African wickets, English, New Zealand or Australian wickets. He'll probably get left out the side. I don't think playing two spinners is probably the way forward for South Africa. But I mean, it's nice, thinking about where I would say 12 months ago we didn't know anyone. We didn't know who would be picked, what the lineup would look like, who would score the runs for us. The bowling, I think we were sort of happy with, but it's good that we've got more options now with that.
The power of the
Completely agree.
all-rounder, guys. Power of the all-rounder. Mulder and Senurin. They weren't there. We had a problem.
Yeah, definitely. If you weren't there, you need to have a look at what Cobes is talking about. He picked about 9 out of 11 players, 9 out of 12 players, all-rounders in the ODI draft. Of course, that one's also on the channel, so go ahead. You'll see a link above us that you can click on.
Yeah, well,
pass over there.
He finished dog shit last, so so much for that.
Yeah, but completely agree. Very good performances from the top order for a change. And yeah, the ebbs and flows of cricket. We were complaining and nagging about how things look so hopeless. But just a few performances.
Yeah, on the top order, what do you make of Markram? Few starts, but everybody around him capitalized.
Drop him down the order, man. It's simple
We've
as
been crying for
Yeah.
it. Like, he shouldn't be opening batting. I would hope that on the background of some very good showings now from Dezorzi and even Stubbs at 3, when Temba comes back in, okay, Rickleton's probably going to lose out. Fair enough. Verreynne has put his hand up more than Rickleton has in recent times. I'd say Temba goes up top with Dezorzi. Brilliant right, left. Then you come with Stubbs at 3, Markram at 4, where he probably should be and should always be. And then, unfortunately, Beddoes also made a bit of a score. They batted quite decently, fairly aggressive, as he has been even in the county championship. And he put up like 59 there. He'll probably slip down to 5. And then the good thing is now Marco Janssen's fit again. He's included in that T20 squad against India coming up in that 5
again.
match. Was it 4 match? Yeah, no, he's fully fit now. He's fully fit. There's no issues. 4 match
That's
T20
saying he was
series.
injured.
So they initially said he's injured, and then afterwards said that he was doing some work with the School of Excellence, probably to correct something with his action, most likely. But all guns blazing there, and Gerald Coetzee is also back. So definitely going to go into the better pace attack in that Sri Lanka series. Seni probably loses out, as we have said, on greener or more pace bowling friendly pitches. Probably loses out. But then you go in now with the potential of playing Janssen and Mulder 6-7, Verreynne 6, Janssen 7, Mulder 8. Pretty decent. You're going to go pretty deep with the batting and have a lot of options against Sri Lanka. They've been playing some good test cricket. Can we topple them in that series at home?
Yeah, I think we just need to remember we came up against a pretty weak Bangladesh side. As happy as we are about for the win,
Yeah.
we didn't really get tested. We weren't put under any sort of pressure at any point in the games, and that Sri Lankan batting lineup is solid. And I think yes, we probably will have the advantage because it's going to be at home. Much more pacier wickets. a bit more bounce. We've got a strong bowling line, a strong pace attack.
To be fair, interesting venue choices for that Sri Lanka series. We're playing the first one in Kingsmead and the second one at St George's. So what you make of that? I would have thought that we probably would have been a bit better off taking them to the Wanderers at least once, or Centurion. Somewhere that I felt some bounce, make them
No,
deal with
but
that.
don't discredit the Sri Lankan bowlers. They've got some big boys there now.
No, I
Like
agree.
big fast bowlers. Yeah, like we fixate around Dhananjaya and Wanindu. Yeah, of course, in Sri Lanka they're amazing. But I think that Sri Lankan fast bowling lineup hasn't been given the chance to shine in Sri Lanka. And maybe they'll come and make a name for themselves in Durban and PE.
I would hope not.
Yeah, I mean,
Not
and you're
like
saying
make a
that.
name for themselves, but bowl some
And
chin music here and there.
yeah, and you're saying that on top of what Divi said, where batting is probably their strength, because we saw against England in that series, they consistently put up scores. So
Yeah,
it's not going to be easy, but
It's
it's
not going
not
to
by
be
any
easy,
means.
but what I hope South Africa doesn't do, or at least the pitch creators or whatever, they don't set up these green wickets, because I think that
Yeah.
South African bowling lineup is as good as Sri Lanka are. Or you mentioned the seam attack is quite strong. I don't. I definitely think our pace attack is much more stronger. And then what happens is when you create these green wickets with a lot of pace and bounce, it brings opposition who doesn't have that sort of quality as you in the pace
I
bowling.
agree.
It brings them more into the game. It gives them more to work with in conditions, in let's say less favorable conditions they might struggle in. So I hope they don't go with that mentality of, look, their batsmen are going to struggle on green wickets, because then that's doing yourself a disservice. You've just got guys into form, playing on the subcontinent. Have a bit more batting friendly wickets, and
Look,
then back is score over
I think
300,
the
400
big thing
games.
is beyond the wicket, TV. I agree with what you're saying, but beyond the wicket, both coastal cities, both heavy swinging bowling cities. So regardless of what happens here, even if the pitch is as flat as you like, Durban is notorious for it. You're gonna have rain on one day, right? Let's not kid ourselves. So you're gonna have some cloud cover at some point. Going to favor the pace bowlers, and then very much the same in PE down my road here. It gets very overcast at least some point in the day. It's very windy, and they're playing about 5 minutes on the beach. So you guaranteed a little bit of swing at the very least. I would say that the scary thing is that it looks like the Sri Lankan batsman, at least we've done it now against Bangladesh on fairly flat wickets, but it looks like the Sri Lankan batsman might have a little bit of a better handle dealing with proper pace bowling, at least in recent times. So a little bit of a worry there, but I think that going forward, let's just hope. Let's just hope that this
No,
vein continues.
I think that series, the sort of battle is definitely between South Africa's bowlers and Sri Lanka's batters. I think Sri Lanka's got I would say, a better batting lineup than we do, but I believe we've got a better bowling lineup. So I think that's the sort of matchup that we're probably looking for. Yeah, it'll be tough, but we'll back the boys, and hopefully, if they come out on top on the Sri Lanka series and the Pakistan series, there's a chance that we get ourselves into that top 2 spot for that Test Championship final.
So great that, as much as we spoke about Test cricket and trying to revitalize it and all of this, we actually have a very, very intriguing series going on now, because the World Test Championship has basically brought together about 6 sides that are still in with a chance, 5 sides if you want to discount New Zealand, but proper competition going in now for the last couple of months of this cricket season, and I think it's going to be quite exciting. India take on Australia, so that's going to cause a lot of nonsense to go on with that table. If we can beat Sri Lanka, we're probably in a good position. Now, let's just quickly red card, green card. I'm happy with not all of us picking one, because we just won the series, so everyone picking a red card would be quite harsh. So if we can agree on 1 or 2 red card, green cards here. So if you haven't seen a Proteas chat with red card, green card before, all it is a red card to a player or 2 or 3 that we don't want to see in this format for South Africa going forward. And the green card likewise is we want to see this player going forward as much as we can.
Let me blow my own trumpet. My last time, and I only did this once, I'm not sure how many times you did it, I gave a red card to Riza and a green card to Stubbs. So, yeah, it worked out pretty well on my own trumpet. I'll give the green card back to Stubbs because, I like what's developing off him. Don't really have an out-and-out red card.
Kuv, you've been vocal on Stubbs at 3. You a bit persuaded to go in the same direction as Kums now after that fairly good performance.
No, it's
No.
not about 3. I still believe he should be at 5, but I'm saying Stubbs is a player.
No. I think we all agree Stubbs is the player, but
We agree, the
let's
player.
let's debate your green card decision on should he be at 3.
Let's give it a bit more time. The jury is still out. Like Divi said, Bangladesh was shit. So let's see what he does
I
in his
don't
next 2
exactly say
seasons.
that, but that's paraphrasing. But
That is yeah. To quote you,
Yeah,
not me directly. That's
yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
I mean, to be fair, they are not just shit. They were shit. They had a bad time. Let's just give them that. Any Bangladeshi
Yeah.
people watching, sorry, it just looks like a big mismatch. I guess things just didn't come right with the recent loss of Shakib and probably an absence of some other Shariful, Taskin, maybe even Tamim Iqbal up top, Litton Das. They were lacking a lot of players and it showed inexperience. But yeah, walkover.
Yeah, and
Red-
there's a lot of sort of problems on the back end there for them. I think Shanto wants to give up the captaincy as well because he doesn't like it. He said that before the series started, I think. You feel for them, but yeah.
Yeah, but let's remember, Bangladesh are fairly new onto the scene as a full member of ICC cricket. They have a lot of their journey still to follow. It'll come right at some point, but of course, being as small in that sense, in cricketing terms, they are going to have to like significantly improve in terms of what they have going for them. They're going to have to put a lot of money into infrastructure and likewise before they actually come right. So I think it'll come, but not right now. So we green carded Stubbs. On the red card end, anyone you don't want to see again now? I know we were a bit vocal very recently in this episode about Dane Piedt not coming right. He was pretty poor, if I'm being honest, so far.
Yeah.
He was going at
He
fives
doesn't
and
offer
points.
much, man.
Yeah, I agree. He doesn't know. I mean, on wickets that are supposed to help him, he seemed very ineffective. It seems like we picked him as a batsman. I mean, he batted quite nicely, so that's a bonus.
No,
But
we picked him as a spokesperson because this is the funniest thing ever. Dane Piedt is like the most vocal in that change room. He's always doing these little videos and interviewing players. And you know what? I honestly think he's there as a comedian. Every court needs a jester. So Dane Piedt, not for me. I will red card him every day of the week. I've said this months ago,
yeah,
maybe in the first Proteas chat, that I really don't see why he's in that side. He's been given his time in the sun, cool, enjoyed the air in Chattogram, go back home, never play a game again. That'll be great. They rather bring in guys like, if you're going to try out Ngaba Peter in white ball cricket, you probably do a little bit better including him in a squad in test cricket. Not now, not right now, but going forward. I think between Muthusamy and Markram and Kesh, you got enough. We're not playing on any spinning pitches going forward. Brilliant stuff. Play your seamers and get away with it like that. In the next cycle, no more Dane Piedt. So for me, red card. I don't know if you guys disagree.
no, I agree. I agree.
On that note, how many years do you think Kesh has left?
I
Not
think
a
he's got
lot.
a few. You reckon? How old is he?
I
He's
think
probably what,
Kesh
35s.
35, somewhere there.
so he was what?
He's fit though, and he's a spinner. So
No, and
for me,
also,
4 5 years.
also,
Me.
also, Kesh has the Sanatan Jeshi Ram protecting him. So, happy Diwali yet again. We should have said that at the start. But, yeah, Keshav Maharaj, I think he's got years in him.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he's got a few. He definitely got a few years in him.
But because I'm thinking, you know, corporate lifestyle here, succession planning. Who's next?
Senora, it says, it turns out.
Muthusamy.
Muthusamy is 30 on the dot. He probably has years in him as well. He's a spinner, can hold a bat.
Yeah.
But I look, as good as he was here, I still think you need to look for something a little bit more.
Hey, you don't want a
Kesh,
batting all-rounder as your number one spinner. Come on, guys.
True.
yeah,
We've got another Verlem export there in Subrian. Is he still around? That one?
Pranel and Subran is still around, but I would class him as a slow bowler rather than a spinner. I don't know.
Guys, you don't have to look like a subcontinent player to spin the ball.
Look, in South Africa, the best spinners we've had are Imran Tahir and Keshav Maharaj. I mean, you could maybe say Paul Adams, Paul Harris, but let's be real. They generally have looked like they're from the subcontinent. I mean, even Nicky Boye looked a little bit like he was from Bangladesh.
Interesting you guys bring that up. I mean, other than obviously Cash, I think Shamsi we know is probably more of a white ball cricketer. Did you see any promising spinners that are in, that could possibly get into the South African side at some point?
There haven't been many for quite some time, and it seems like we've always focused on them because spinners can play till a lot later in their career. We focused on them when they were like 30. Like Bjorn Fortuin has already been around for quite some time.
No, but I think Kesh has a long term. He's got a long term plan because he's phasing out his batting. He wants to go to number 11. So.
I agree. 100%.
I mean, you're spot on there. Kovkesh has been batting like crap. He was probably Divi said
off pod one, right?
Yeah.
Kesh, he was known to be able to hold the bat. And ever since that World Cup, when he messed that thing up, I watched a few domestic games after that, and I think he has like nightmares. He can't take a single, and he like goes and sits on the other end. Remember, that's what he did in the World Cup, right? You don't blame him. No one talks about it. No one blames him. You can't expect much from Kesh, but he didn't take the single for like 5 balls in a row. And ever since that, I've never seen anything from Kesh.
He has a ridiculous amount of ducks. I think only for South Africa, only KG has more, if I'm not mistaken. It's wild. It's like 20. I think KG has 21 or 22. He has something like 20.
Yeah, look, I'm just worried about his next innings because what's the record is 5 in a row. I think that's a current record. He's on 4 at the moment.
He was probably, as you said off camera, at the time when the game was still going on, Kesh must be hoping that they declare right now so that he doesn't get a bat.
Well, I was worried for him, honestly. I was worried for him. I know those days where you can't score runs, you just don't want to play. So I felt, but yeah, it'll be interesting. His next innings, that's going to be exciting to watch.
Let's call it. I'm saying diamond duck.
You reckon diamond without a facing the ball?
Run on the other end.
Knowing his luck with the bat recently.
So you heard it here first, and we'll end on that note. Kesh to start off, or maybe somewhere in that Sri Lanka series, or even against Pakistan, get a diamond duck, make it 5 in 5, sets a new record, and that's sad for him. But if you enjoyed this episode, drop us a like, hit the subscribe button, of course, listen to us on all the audio platforms, and catch us sometime soon for one of the other types of content like that draft that we mentioned a little bit earlier in this one. Until the next one, please take care. Don't forget to pour a shot, and cheers.